And that one is one of them. Ed Welch, I would consider Ed a good conservative, but a moderate as well as a legislator.
Level-headed guy.
Level-headed. Yeah. Ed Welch, good morning.
Good morning.
So is it offensive to say you're a moderate?
Oh, I would say that's pretty accurate.
Yeah, I do. I think you logically, I love the word logic, because to logically look at something, I think is greatly appreciated these days.
Yeah, it is. And, I think that's why you have to approach things level-headed and look at things. But, of course, the passion comes from both ends of both extremes from the other way.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's
and that's and a lot of times passion is what drives public policy.
Yeah. You're right. Listen, we're here to talk to you today about something that you're very passionate about, and that is AAA. You guys are coming up on a big anniversary here.
Yeah, our AAA Foundation for Traffic Safety has now been in business for 70 years. And most people, of course, know AAA, but many people don't understand what the AAA Foundation for Traffic Safety is. And we founded this back in 1947, so we've been around for a while. And what the foundation really is the research and development arm of AAA when it comes to traffic safety. And I guess I'll give you a great example. After World War II, when we started building the interstate highway system, and we had these great big cars, and of course they kept getting bigger and faster, and a lot of people were perishing on the highways. Way back then, even people hard to believe that. But I'll give you an example. In 1947, there were 87 traffic deaths per 100,000 vehicles. Today, up to 2007, it got all the way down to 16. So what had really changed, because we have way more cars on the road than we had in 1947,
right.
And we drive way more miles, there's way more people. So how did that index drop so far down?
Yeah.
And really what's happened is in society, people have become a lot more safety conscious.
What's interesting, Ed, is the New York Times about a month ago had a story about, it was right after the mass shooting in Florida, and they said we've got to stop with this prohibition. It doesn't work. This is the New York Times, and it was an editorial in the New York Times. But stop with prohibition. It doesn't work. We should approach guns the same way we've approached our highway system. In that, and it was quoting these numbers, how drastically deaths on the highways have decreased. And if you were to approach and then somebody, well, you can't do it that way because it's a constitutional right for guns. That's not what they're not saying, to take away guns, but through education, through safety features, through all sorts of constructive measures, we have been able to really dramatically reduce the number of deaths on the highways.
Exactly, and as people's relationship with cars change and technology changes, of course, the problems change. So when you go back to I was looking yesterday, and you could go find this on the AAA Foundation for Traffic Safety. Put it on YouTube. You can find the 1954 short film they did on jaywalking. It's got this whole great story about this young kid running towards sandlot baseball, and it runs out without looking across the street, and basically gets run over by a car. The thing has a happy ending, but the whole purpose of the film was to teach young people about jaywalking.
Right.
And of course, today, people are jaywalking while they're looking at their cell phone.
Mm-hmm. Well, how about the story
we have a different problem today, but it's still the same problem, walking out of the traffic.
How about the Uber story, where the self-driving autonomous vehicle with a driver sitting in the driver's seat for safety reasons? Somebody steps out in front of him, and I wonder if we might find that could be as much human error.
Yeah, can you imagine the humans like, hey, I wasn't driving.
Yeah, but you would be able to tell that in the car, right? There would be like a computer chip where you can go back and see when the car was
I would imagine. Ed, you've been talking about these autonomous vehicles for a long time.
Yeah, and you know what? We're going to be living with them. But you know what? There is no technology that's going to prevent the car from, if a car's going down the road 25 miles an hour and has the right of way, and something jumps out from behind a parked car, just as you can't stop the car, the laws of physics can't be changed because it's an automated driver. So the problem is that nothing is perfect.
Right.
So we're going to have to learn how to peacefully coexist with these things, and then figure out if our traffic safety laws and all the rules of the road still work the same way with this different technology involved.
Yeah.
I do think, unless there's a hacking situation, autonomous vehicles are a great solution. The only concern I have is that, for instance, if I'm driving down the road, you gave the jaywalking example, right? When someone's on their cell phone, if I'm paying attention and there's nothing blocking my view, I can see that person not paying attention and wandering into the road from a distance. I can see it coming. A computer obviously can't see that.
Don't those self-driving cars? I mean, there are a lot of vehicles that are just standard vehicles that are
without getting into this. I want to keep Ed as the guest here, so we don't debate. And I've got to move on. But I do want to say, Ed, I don't know if Jeff is right there. I think the computer does a better job of looking down the road to see a potential hazard than a human.
Well, it can only see what it's programmed to see.
Yeah.
So if something comes out of the parameter other than what it's supposed to see, it's not going to see it. You know, a great example was the poor Tesla accident last year, where the guy was watching a Harry Potter film and the car was driving itself down the highway.
Yeah.
And it could not see the truck next to it, and basically drove under the truck because it couldn't distinguish the color of the truck from the color of the sky. That was at the time, that was the thought of what happened.
And that is
that's a couple of interesting things the foundation's working on.
Got it.
And it's funny. Some of the things we do find is funny. For example, Bill, did you know that in the Northeast, 30% are more likely to flip off other drivers?
In the Northeast, more so? It just happened. Yeah,
You're most likely to flip somebody off in the Northeast than you would in the other parts of the country.
I guess, and part of it is because it's March and there's still snow in the forecast. I don't know what does it.
That could be the reason.
Yeah.
But these are the things we look at.
Yeah.
10% of all crashes involve drowsy driving. And that problem is a lot bigger than most people have ever realized.
Well, they say that could be something that is almost as bad as drunk driving, right?
Exactly. It has the same level of impairment.
Yeah.
Distraction plays a role in nearly 6 out of 10 teen crashes. And that's because you have the most inexperienced drivers, being kids. And who's the best with technology?
Right,
kids.
right. Yep.
You put those both in the car at the same time, you get a lot of problems. One thing that a lot of people don't know, for example, is you can be distracted for as long as 30 seconds after making a cell phone call.
Wow. Right. They're even thinking, like, even the hands-free, you're still distracted.
That's right.
Yeah.
And what's really coming up on the radar screen, Bill, and I know you got to move on, but there's no reliable roadside test to prove a driver is impaired by marijuana. And as states continue to make marijuana legal, this is going to become a bigger and bigger problem on the highways.
Yeah. Well, I think we had the gubernatorial candidate, or actually it was Mike Long, the head of the Conservative Party, saying that's what they're seeing in Colorado is an increased amount of impaired driving.
The foundation did a research study in the state of Washington State after they legalized marijuana.
Yeah.
And we basically found that the fatal crashes in driving people using marijuana doubled in that state when we did the study. So the problem is that, again, society will always outpace the rules and regulations that govern it.
Yep. I want to.
What the foundation does. It looks at all this stuff and tries to figure out where we need to be next, and we share that information with policymakers, transportation folks, highway departments, so that we try to get ahead of the curve.
And ultimately, it's making our roads safer. And I'm not sure everybody. I mean, we always think about AAA for the roadside hazard insurance. You think about it for auto insurance. You think about AAA for gas prices, monitoring gas prices, but there's much more. I want to just 2 comments and see if you can comment on one of these. Mike says, a friend of mine who lives in Florida says he never beeps his horn at bad drivers because of the amount of guns in Florida. You never know. And I do think you have to consider that. You don't know who that person is that you're flipping off or you're beeping at, and you don't know what they're capable of and what's in their glove compartment.
Oh, exactly. You know, road rage is a growing problem, and it doesn't matter where you are. Anytime you're in congestion, anyone who's in a hurry to go someplace and feels that pressure, all of a sudden someone cuts off in front of them or slows them down. Obviously, they start to react emotionally to it, become enraged. So it's a big societal problem. The more you have where there's more congestion, it's a bigger problem.
Jeff has one quick question. I got to roll in 30 seconds. Question for Ed: how has the development of traffic and driving apps affected AAA as a business?
Our business continues to grow, and I think it's mainly because we keep adapting to what's in front of us. for great example is you can download our mobile app onto your phone, and you can get road service, trip tips, maps. We can tell you where the gas stations are, what the prices are, right on your app. So we adapt with societal evolution, so to speak.
All right, Ed Welch, congratulations on this anniversary, and appreciate you filling us in on all the things that AAA does.